Good afternoon. Welcome to the news on Spectrum TV at 4. I am Emedion James, coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Federal government to boost fertilizer supply chain. Governor Minor launches Akwa Ibom Security Trust Fund to boost tourism, investment and safety. Plus, GlaxoSmithKline vows $30 billion investment in U.S. as Trump's visit. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. Begin the news from a national scene where President Bola Tinubu has said over 126 million Nigerians have been enrolled into the National Identity Database with their national identity numbers NINs. The President said this yesterday at the 7th National Day of Identity organized by the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) at the International Conference Center in Abuja. Represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, President Tinubu lauded the Commission for clearing over 2.5 million backlog of registration in the past 2 years. He held the NIMC for arresting over 30 fraudulent individuals for setting up fake registration centers. The President expressed delight that the mobile and web self-service applications has processed more than 500,000 records to update, and also it deployed over 800 million enrollment devices nationwide, alongside new territorial offices for better oversight. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has returned to Abuja from his work vacation. Recall that the President had departed for France on September 4th, 2025 to spend part of his annual holiday and was initially scheduled to drive the period between France and the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, in a statement, noted that the President has concluded his work vacation ahead of schedule and returned to Abuja to resume official duties. The statement further noted that the President had held a private luncheon with his French counterpart, President Emmanuel Macron, to review key areas of cooperation between Nigeria and France, and also agreed to deepen the partnership for mutual prosperity and global stability. Away from that, the federal government has issued a fresh warning of possible flooding in Lagos, Adamawa and 12 other states. In a flood prediction released by the National Flood Early Warning Center of the Federal Ministry of Environment, heavy rainfall is expected between September 16 and 18 in 14 states and 32 communities. The flood prediction obtained by newsmen was signed by the Director of the Erosion, Flood and Coastal Zone Management Department, Usman Abdullahi Bukani. According to the ministry, the state and communities that possibly experience flooding within the predicted days are Akwa Ibom State, Anambra State, Adamawa State, Cross River, Bayelsa State. Others are Delta, Kaduna State, Kebbi State, Katsina State, River State, Imo State, Sokoto State, Ondo State, and Lagos State. This comes just 3 days after the government warned of flooding in Adamawa and 10 other states, advising residents around River Gongola, River Benue, and River Niger, the communities on the floodplains of River Kongola up to Newman, and also communities on the floodplains of River Benue and River Niger up to Lokoja to evacuate immediately. Meanwhile, the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative (PFI) said it is advancing effort to secure a resilient and uninterrupted supply of fertilizers to Nigerian farmers, in line with President Bola Tinubu's vision for food sovereignty. A statement by its Executive Director Portfolio, Tajuddin Ahmed, said the initiative had entered a new phase, PFI 3.0, as it lays the foundation for a stable supply of raw materials to blending plant with the ultimate goal of making Nigeria self-sufficient in crop production for both food and industrial uses. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of MOFI, Dr. Armstrong Taken, noted that the focus of PFI extends beyond mere volumes. In the meantime, in a bid to step up efforts to curb the menace of improvised explosive devices, IEDs, by non-state actors, the National Counter-Terrorism Center (NCTC) has begun specialized training for first responders and explosive ordnance disposal (EOD) personnel. Speaking at the training, the NCTC boss, Major General Gabra Leka, stated that the training is aimed at building the capacity of bomb technicians, security agencies, and emergency responders to detect, defuse, and respond swiftly to IED threat across the country. Leka underscored the role of technology in amplifying Nigeria's counter-IED capacity, stressing that constant innovation is needed to stay ahead of evolving terrorist tactics. In another development, the Independent National Electoral Commission has issued a strong warning to the public to ignore a fake recruitment advert making the rounds on social media platforms, in a statement posted on its official X, formerly Twitter, handle today. The electoral body dismissed the circulating notice, which falsely claims that Inec is currently recruiting for various positions. The fraudulent adverts direct applicants to a fake website, inecrecruitment.com, to submit their personal details. Inec may declare that it is not conducting any recruitment exercise at the moment, urging the public not to fall prey to the scam. We move now to Akwa Ibom, where Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has launched the State Security Trust Fund, focusing on enhancing security and infrastructure to attract tourists and investors as part of effort to transform the state into a thriving tourism hub. At the official launch of the initiative with the theme Partnership for a Safer Akwa Ibom, held at the Banquet Hall, Government House, Uyo, the governor noted that security was very critical in the promotion of tourism as well as the general development of any society. The governor noted that security remains everyone's business, hence the need to launch a trust fund which seeks to promote a public-private partnership for efficient policing of the state. He also said that though Akwa Ibom remains one of the most peaceful and safest states in Nigeria, it was necessary to put machineries in place to maintain the status quo and called on private sectors to rise to the occasion and support in this regard. The governor attributed the peace and security in the state to the effort of party leaders for their single-minded devotion, which foundation, he said, his administration was building on. Governor Ino appreciated Security Chief for taking part in the event and also appreciated the chairman of the Akwa Ibom State Security Trust Fund, Paul Usoro, the Speaker and members of the State House of Assembly for passage of the Trust Fund Bill, which has been accepted to law.
Security is the first order of government. Indeed, it is the primary reason why government came into existence in the first instance. The principle of the social contract, as propounded by Thomas Hobbes, spoke eloquently about shared responsibility on the part of government and the governed. It is in recognition of that sacred responsibility that we are launching the Akwa Ibom State Security Trust Fund today. It is a public-private partnership vehicle to bring all hands on deck to ensure we continue to live in a safe and secure environment so the people may pursue their legitimate undertaking away from the state of nature, which Hobbes talked about. Security is the first order of government. Indeed, it is the primary reason why government came into existence in the first instance. The principle of the social contract, as propounded by Thomas Hobbes, spoke eloquently about shared responsibility on the part of government and the governed.
Earlier, the chairman of the occasion, Usman B. Alkali, had commended Governor Moino for passionately following through his vision as contained in the RISE agenda, and also described him as a rare breed among his colleagues.
Indeed, a term called Omo-Inoism. I went out searching further. What is the meaning of that? It told me it means a governance model that deploys wealth of experience to offer a gift. To who? A gift of governance, good governance to the citizens of Akwa Ibom.
In his tone setting, the chairman of Trust Fund, Usoro San, said the fund was set up as a private partnership arrangement to handle security. Usoro, who noted that security is capital intensive, called on everyone to show commitment and also expressed the commitment of members of the committee in partnership with relevant stakeholders to successfully drive the initiative. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ekpetukun PhD, who was represented by the State Commissioner of Police, CP Baba Azare, said the initiative was a point out to the fact that Akwa Ibom State was proactive in security management, adding that security is not an expensive but an investment, and pledged his commitment and support to make the state a shining example of a peaceful state in Nigeria. Government House correspondent January reports that on his part, the Commissioner for Internal Security and Waterways, retired General Koko Essien, said the state security management team was excited by the launch of the fund and stressed that Akwa Ibom has the longest coastline in Nigeria and deserves a great deal of security effort as demonstrated by Governor No to maintain peace and security. Meanwhile, in a bid to sustain peace and security in Akwa Ibom State, Governor Moino has pledged his administration's continuous commitment to a strong working relationship with the judiciary. The governor gave the assurance while speaking at a special interdenominational church service at the Believers' Assembly to mark the opening of the 2025/2026 legal year. He commended the State Chief Judge, Justice Ekaito Obot, for the warm and robust collaboration between the executive and judicial arms of government, which, according to him, has been fruitful and productive. He acknowledged the efforts of the judiciary to maintain peace and ensure orderliness in society, and assured that the executive arm will continue to ensure a conducive environment for everyone to deliver on their responsibilities. The governor warned against attempts by any individual group to stifle the peace in the state, stressing that where there is perceived injustice, parties involved should approach the court and allow it to address such issues without engaging in subjudicial act. Government House correspondent Jen Owa reported that the governor emphasized that all applicants would go through the state employment portal. He congratulated the judiciary on the opening of a new legal year and prayed for collaboration to enable the state maintain its peaceful status. Let's move now to Africa, where vote counting has begun following the closure of polling stations in Malawi's crucial presidential election. Current President Lazarus Chakwara is seeking a second term, running against former President Peter Mutharika, with both candidates focusing on revitalizing their economy. Reports say approximately 3.7 million votes were cast, despite some delays at polling stations due to issues with fingerprint readers. The Malawi Electoral Commission has until September 24th to announce the presidential result, with parliamentary outcomes expected by September 30. On a foreign scene, British pharmaceutical group GlaxoSmithKline said today it will invest $30 billion in the United States over the next 5 years, as drug makers face pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump to produce more in the country. The investment, announced on the first day of Trump's state visit to Britain, will bolster GSK's research and development as well as production capacities in the United States, the company said. Trump unleashed a barrage of tariffs after his re-election in a bid to force a range of industries to increase domestic production, accusing them of contributing to the unfair U.S. trade deficit. Meanwhile, the U.S. commitment includes a $1.2 billion plan to build biologic factories in Pennsylvania for developing respiratory and cancer treatment and artificial intelligence development at its 5 U.S. manufacturing sites. Still on the foreign scene, the suspect in the shooting of Charlie Clerk, Tyler Robinson, is reportedly facing 7 charges, including aggravated murder and witness tampering. According to a report, Utah Attorney Jeff Gray has said that he will seek the death penalty after evidence reveals that Robinson left a note under a keyboard for his roommate, stating that he had the opportunity to take Kirk out. Meanwhile, Robinson will make his first appearance in Utah court soon. Still to come in the news. Ex-Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey pleads not guilty to rape charges. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. In business, the Chief Executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, Garba Komolafe, has said that President Bola Tinubu's reform agenda is positioning Nigeria as one of the world's most attractive destinations for upstream oil and gas investments. Speaking at the African Oil Week in Accra, Ghana, Komolafe noted that bold policy shifts under the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) 2021 and reinforced by presidential executive orders have boosted investor confidence, attracting billions of dollars in fresh commitment. He further revealed that in 2025 alone, the Commission approved 28 new field development plans, unlocking 1.4 billion barrels of oil and 5.4 trillion cubic feet of gas, expected to deliver 591,000 barrels of oil per day and 2.1 billion standard cubic feet per day of gas. Meanwhile, he also pointed to milestone projects such as the $5 billion Bonga North Deep Offshore Development and the $500 million UBTA gas project as proof of renewed long-term commitment by global operators. Additional final investment decisions are expected on projects including Inec Development, Emar Gas, Owowo Deep Offshore, and Pre-Ogwe Fields. We move now to health, where the federal government is exploring the introduction of a digitalized inventory consignment model to improve access to essential medicines in federal tertiary hospitals. It has emerged. Speaking at the stakeholders' engagement on digital procurement of essential medicine for hospitals across the country in Abuja, the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Daju Kachalomo, said the initiative aligns with the National Strategy for Supply Chain Management. According to her, the pilot project has already begun to test and fine-tune the model before its rollout across federal tertiaries. The Permanent Secretary tasked the stakeholders with identifying gaps in the medicine supply chain, strengthening service delivery, introducing a new model in tertiary hospitals, and building frameworks for collaboration to ensure nationwide access. And in sport, number 1 Aryna Sabalenka today pulled out of the next week's China's Open with an injury suffered on the way to winning her 4th Grand Slam title in New York earlier this month. The Belarusian, who beat Amanda Anisimova to win the US Open for the 2nd year running 10 days ago, will miss the WTA 1000 event in Beijing, which begins on September 24th. Organizers announced that Aryna has not fully recovered from the injury she sustained during the US Open and will miss the 2025 China Open. Sabalenka, who reached a quarterfinal in Beijing last year, said on social media platform that she was very sad to announce her withdrawal after sustaining a small injury at Flushing Meadows. Still in sport, Ghana and Villarreal midfielder Thomas Partey pleaded not guilty today to raping 2 women and sexually assaulting a 3rd woman. The 32-year-old former Arsenal player is accused of 5 counts of rape as well as 1 charge of sexual assault. Partey was granted bail and will stand trial at Southwark Crown Court in November